If God loved the world and sent Jesus to save it, why did he let the devil be in charge of the earth? This is from a 9-year-old.
Oh, wow. Very good. Very, very good. Feature theologian there. I don't think it's just a matter of God saying, devil, I'll let you be in charge of the earth, as though he could just as easily said, I don't want you to be in charge of the earth. That would really be pretty poor management on his part. I think humans are the ones who put the devil in charge of the earth. We were supposed to be lords of this earth, under the lordship of God, God's viceroys, his ambassadors down here, the caretakers of this real estate. That was basically our job description in Genesis 1, and still is our job description. And someday we're going to finally be doing it right. So he put us in authority over this and told us in the very beginning to guard the garden, which I think is more than just tilling weeds. In Genesis 3, when the enemy shows up, we see who we're supposed to be guarding it against. But instead, we surrender our authority over to him. And so we're the ones who invited him in on this domain. Our job was and for Christians, now it still is, to be living lives that resist him. Our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers. And so to be saying, no, this earth belongs to God, and we're his administrators, and we have therefore authority by God to push you out. But instead, we succumbed and invited him in. And that's why he reigns on this earth. The only other thing I'd add is that the question might arise, well, then can't God just flex his muscle and get him out? And the answer is yes, he could flex his muscle and get him out. But remember something we talked about in the very first class that I think is very, very important. Our say-so is our domain of authority. All those we can influence, all the things we can influence. And the whole business of life is to get our say-so, our dome, our kingdom, the dome over which we are king, to line up with the dome over which he is king. That's dancing with God. Now, when we decide to go otherwise, we still have that domain of authority. And I don't think that can be otherwise. It's just that now we abuse it. If God were to revoke our domain of authority because now we're abusing it, well, then it's clear that he never really gave us that domain of authority. We'd never really had free will. Free will, as I said in the first class, I would argue, has got to be within limits irrevocable. Once given, by definition, it can't be retracted. There's a million qualifications on that, but that's, I think, the basic principle. And so if you accept that, then you can understand how you could have an all-powerful God who can't do certain things. Not because he lacks the power, but because of the kind of world he created. It's a logical contradiction, if I'm right, to think that God could revoke free will that he gave, because then we didn't have free will. So the devil has this domain of authority, and the angels have this domain of authority, and humans have this domain of authority. And when we screw it up, everything underneath us suffers. The mother who decides to, the pregnant lady who decides to start snorting crack cocaine is still going to be pregnant with a baby, but the baby's going to suffer. And that has to be wired in the nature of things if that woman's going to have also the possibility of blessing that child. It goes both ways. And so what happened is, the enemy, the devil, ruins or abuses the authority that he was given over all of creation. And then we have this authority to keep him at bay and to establish the kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. But instead, we use our authority to invite him in on this mess. And that's why we have the sorry state of affairs that we have today.